everyone, coming at you today with a new update for my Lego wall, where I attempt to collect every Lego Star Wars minifigure ever made, with the oldest guys up at the top there, and then coming down to the newest guys down at the bottom. You can see we got some new rows here for the newest waves of the Lego Star Wars minifigures. Since I've taken a little bit of hiatus, we got a lot of spots to fill. So if you're new to the series, I'm working on collecting every single guy with a few caveats. I'm not getting like the rare earth minerals or the gold C-3PO. And then any I've also limited myself on like production change minifigures. So like the Black Kanan or the Resistance Bomber Pilot Finch Dallo. Those minifigures cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and not something that I particularly want to track down. But the collection does include spots for like the Cloud City Boba Fett, since it directly did come out in a set to consumers. So without further ado, let's hop into the new minifigures for the haul and we'll get them added to the wall. Alrighty, so starting first up, we got an old minifigure and a couple of pretty new ones. So on the left here, we have a minifigure I've been looking for quite a long time. We got the Phase 1 Clone Trooper from 2002. So this guy goes for currently about 22 bucks. So he's pretty high up there now. He came out in two sets between 02 and 03, the ATTE and Republic Gunship. This is the classic Phase 1 Clone Trooper that we see in the Lego Star Wars video games. He's very simple. It looks like they reused the print here for the Phase 2 clones that came out a couple years later. No leg printing or arm printing, obviously. Got a little bit of back printing, but the helmet actually has some decent printing. Got some marks here on the side. You can also see the profile of this helmet. There's a lip that comes underneath, so adds a little bit of stability, but also does not allow the helmet to turn without popping it up a little bit. Underneath, it is just that pure black head, so no face print underneath that, but as you can see, the color from the visor comes from that black head underneath. In the middle here, we got a bunch newer figures. So both of these guys came out in 2024 in the Crimson Firehawk set. So in the middle here, we have Nubs, and on the right is RJ83. So Nubs goes for about 7 bucks, and then RJ83 is about 250. So Nubs here, I really like him. He is pretty neat. I've never watched the Young Jedi Adventures show, but I like the minifigures that have come out from it. They're all pretty unique, and I like the Jedi prints, and Nubs is no exception, especially because he's a unique alien minifigure. He's got this nice head mold here, making him look like a big teddy bear. In a D&D game that I ran, one of my players played as Nubs' species, so there's a lot of fun to be had with there. But you can see he's got a pretty good torso print here with the Jedi robe coming on, as well as with the green belt. He does have this dual colored cloth cape here with brown, sorry, knocked the camera there, and then yellow underneath. And then also you can see that simple but effective print for his back. You can also see the fur kind of pulling through. RJ83, there's not a lot to be said here. It's just two pieces, a clear cylinder here with a print for the legs, and then a BB-8 dome for the head. It's all right, you know, like, looks like from the pictures I saw from the show, he's just a small little droid. So it's neat that we got him as a minifigure, I will say. But that does for these three. Let's get on to the next ones. All right, next up we have some more really cool minifigures, but first up we have the last minifigure from the Crimson Firehawk set, Nash Durango. She goes for about 5 bucks, not super expensive, and this is probably my least favorite minifigure from the Young Jedi Adventures sets. There's just, you know, not a lot going on. She's got a cool hair piece. I don't think it's exclusive to her. I believe this piece has been in other sets, Ninjago, I want to say. But for the torso, it's just like this, you know, bomber jacket and t-shirt. She does have the olive green midi scale legs, so shorter than the standard minifigure, but can still, you know, bend, which is cool. She does have a plate here for her back. I don't know what that's for. I don't remember from the set, to be completely honest with you, if it attaches to anything. Maybe it's for the RJ droid. I don't know. She's an all right minifigure, just nothing, you know, super interesting. In the middle here, we have Paz Vizsla. This guy came out in 2024 in the Moff Gideon versus Paz Vizsla battle set, surprisingly. So this minifigure is almost exactly the same that we saw from the original Paz Vizsla, and this is the first one we got in the Mandalorian Forge set. The only difference being is that this brick-built backpack here, the one on the left here, has a clip, and the newest one does not. That is quite literally the only difference. They did also, change his gun, but accessories are not considered exclusive parts of minifigures in Bricklink for good reason. But regardless, this is still a phenomenal minifigure. He goes for about $5 now, and the original one here has also dropped substantially in price, which is amazing because he had gone up, shot up in price like the 30, 40 bucks, which is insane. So the new release of Paz Vizsla here has brought that price down and made it much easier for people to get, which I will always support. So Paz here, he's got really nice printing for the head there. He's got this armor overlay, which is printed as well, making him that big bulky frame there that we see in the show. He's got this brick-built backpack here where his gun attaches to, and quickly cutting away there, we can see the under torso print there that would normally be covered up, which is actually done really well, quite detailed. As well as his back print. So it's cool that they added that extra detail, even if you would probably never see it if you keep the armor pieces on. If we take that helmet off, again, just a normal black head like we saw in the clone trooper, because we never see Paz Vizsla's face. On the right, we have maybe one of my favorite minifigures released ever in recent years. This is the Moff Gideon in Mandalorian armor. This is a cool minifigure. He goes for about $8 right now. Also came out in the set with Paz Vizsla here. This is a phenomenal minifigure. The helmet here is exclusive. It's got the, kind of like the maul horns there and the cool red visor and printing. You can kind of see the prints of his torso and leg there, kind of looking like the Dark Troopers, to be honest. On the back, he does have a jetpack mold here. We've seen this in quite a few sets. The same mold, but I believe that's a new color it's been molded in. Then if we take off his helmet here, we can actually see he does have a face print. So we can see the Moff Gideon head, no mustache, no glasses, so can't do a Gus Fring, but it's done pretty well. I believe this is an exclusive face print as well. So again, this guy goes for about $8, but I would predict this guy shooting up in price quite a bit. Especially once the set retires, because it is such a cool minifigure. And to be honest, I doubt we've seen the last of Moff Gideon. Don't want to spoil anything from the show, but I would not be surprised if he makes a return. So that does it for these three guys. Let's get on to the next ones. All right, next up we have three more minifigures, all from the Mandalorian, because 2024 was a big year for the Mandalorian. On the left here, we have the Imperial Praetorian Guard. This guy came out in 3 sets. The same one as Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon, a paper bag from the the EU magazines, and then also the advent calendar. And this guy, if you follow my channel, I am a sucker for cool red soldiers, so I really like him, even though maybe his helmet is a little goofy looking, but that print there is really good. I like the visor that it does. This is a newly molded helmet here that we haven't seen in any other minifigure. Underneath, you can see he, instead of a black head, he has a full red head there. So that's pretty interesting they did that. You can also see kind of the very basic back print they did for him. The next two minifigures both came out in the same set, the Ambush on Mandalore battle pack. We got the Mandalorian Warrior here in the middle, and the Night Owl. And the Night Owl actually came out in another paper poly bag from the magazines. Both of these minifigures go for about $3. So in the middle, actually both of these minifigures are pretty similar. They do actually have different prints for everything, the head, the torso, and the legs. You can see the difference between them here. Even though the color schemes are the same, they look very similar, but they are different. All done very well here. If we take off the helmets, You can see just the black heads underneath. No need to give them faces. Then if we flip them around, there is no arm printing or side leg printing for both of them. But you can see the dark gunmetal gray jetpack. And then removing the jetpacks, you can also see their back printing there where the jetpacks attach. They're very similar, again, in printing, but actually are exclusive. So that's pretty neat that they go through the extra detail for these minifigures, especially since they would almost always be covered up by the jetpacks. But that does it for these three guys. Let's get on to the next ones. All right, next up, our next three minifigures. We have the last minifigure from the Mandalorian, or the Ambush on Mandalore set. We have the Imperial Commando. And this is, again, another really cool looking trooper. He goes for about $3 right now, so pretty cheap. He also came out in one of the magazine packs. This is a new helmet mold. We have not seen that before. No helmet holes, as you can see, so no one needs to complain. The printing there is pretty phenomenal. Lots of little details and lines, which is really cool. I like the color scheme of this guy quite a bit. The helmet, let's pop that off. See, it's just a black head underneath. If we can focus that a little bit, it's a dual molded helmet, so it looks really cool. On the back there, we can see he's got the jetpack, the same one that Moff Gideon has had with a little 1x1 tile print. And then removing the backpack as well as these guys' accessories because they're quite big. You can see the simple, yet again, effective back printing for the Imperial Commando. So he's a really cool minifigure, another standout from the 2024 wave. But the next two minifigures came out with the new Lego Chronicles. I can't quite remember what the name of the show was. It was pretty funny though if you haven't seen it. Both of these minifigures came out in the 2024 X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup set. We have Yessie Scala here in the middle. She goes for about $9. And then Sig Greebling, which is an excellent little pun for the Lego community. Of course, the Sig Figs, which is like making your own minifigure of yourself, or just something to represent you, as well as Greebling, which is adding a bunch of random pieces onto a mock to add detail. So it's a cool pun on the different Lego terms. He goes for about $10, so a little bit more expensive than Yessie. I don't know if Yessie Scala is a play on any terms or anything. Let me know in the comments if it is. Both of these minifigures are great. They're Star Wars-y feeling, but like not exclusive to anything. So these guys can go in like any mock and fit in really well. So Yessie's kind of got this engineer getup. You can see the goggles and the jumpsuit. She's got big old hair. If we take that off, you can kind of see the printing there a little better. She's got a headband. Flipping that around, you can see the back printing and coat, as well as a little bit more of a neutral face there. Sig has more of his peasant or herder get up there with the little patch jacket there and the scarf. He's pretty cool. He's got the 1x1 Rebuild the Galaxy, that's what it's called, the show. On the back there, you can see he's got an alternate head print, looking much more scared, and a very simple back print there. So these three minifigures are really cool. I like the Commando quite a bit, but then Yessie and Sig, while not being like, you know, super cool minifigures, they're really versatile minifigures that I can see a lot of people using in mocks and setups, which is probably reflecting of their you know, kind of high price point for $9-10. Not expensive, but also, you know, not cheap either for a minifigure. So we'll see if these guys keep increasing in price as the years go on. Next up, we have the last two minifigures from the X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup set. There was a TIE Fighter pilot included, but he was not exclusive, so he doesn't have a spot on the wall since his minifigure is already on there. But on the left here, we have a Rebel pilot with black Rebel symbols. That's what Bricklink calls them. And then on the right, we have L3GO. So Lego, very, very clever. So the pilot here is very good. We've seen this specific X-Wing pilot print several times now, but what makes him exclusive is, of course, the helmet. That head print actually may be exclusive as well. But this is the black Rebel Alliance symbol Bricklink is referring to there. It's a cool helmet. I like it quite a bit. There's the opposite end. You can still see his alternate head poking out from underneath there. So yeah, actually, I want to say I'm 95% sure that this head print is actually new, because they have been reusing the same Rebel pilot face print for quite a while now. So it's cool to get that updated. So cool minifigure. He goes for about $10 right now. Lego over here is molded in the Lego colors, so black, white, red, and yellow. But let's be honest, it just looks like McDonald's. it's just a McDonald's droid. He is quite more expensive. He goes for about $20, $22. So, and I expect him to jump quite a bit in price as well when the set retires, because he is a pretty unique astromech droid. So his legs here are of course molded in the yellow. The torso piece is the red, and then the helmet is white, and then accented with blacks, yellows, and whites throughout. It's good printing. It's very clashing for the colors. I just can't get over McDonald's. I don't think I really like this minifigure. It works. It's cool in concept, you know, the Lego astromech droid. It's just the McDonald's astromech droid. I can't get over it. But it's still cool. It's unique, and probably will be quite expensive once the set retires, because it is already quite expensive. We see one of two things happen when sets retire. The minifigures will either drop substantially in price, or they will increase substantially in price. And I bet he will increase substantially. But that does it for these two guys. Let's get on to the next ones. Last up, we have some minifigures from the 2025 wave, so brand new. We have the guys from the Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor set. So obviously we have Ahsoka here on the left with an Anakin and R7A7. So all of these guys are pretty new, so the prices will probably fluctuate quite a bit. But Anakin actually currently goes for the most, for about $10. Ahsoka is $9, and then R7A7 is about $7, which is different than what I would have thought. I would have thought R7 would be the most expensive, not the least expensive, and Anakin being the least expensive, not the most expensive. But I guess, you know, he is a popular character, and I guess it's been, you know, a few years since we've gotten an Anakin, so, you know, all power to him. So on the left here, we have Ahsoka from her later Clone Wars appearances. So she's got everything is in the dark red mold there. Nice printing for the torso and legs. She now uses that midi scale leg there, so she's got some articulation. We take off her headpiece there. You can see the back print as well as her alternate face. Everything is done really well. I'll say it, I've said it before, but it is pretty hard to find a modern day Lego minifigure with bad printing. This headpiece here is the newer one that has been coming out with the new Ahsoka series minifigure, so they've been carrying that over, because next to her I found my old Clone Wars version of this minifigure. She came out way back in 2014 in the Umbara set, but you can see the difference in the head there, the head mold there, as well as the obvious ugly Clone Wars prints. So they updated quite a bit, and this minifigure is printed in the brittle brown. So we're going from brittle brown to the also equally as brittle dark red. So we'll see how these minifigures fare in the future. In the middle here, we have the new Anakin. We've got Anakin plenty of times. I have probably like 15 of them on the wall. But this is a good Anakin, right? This is his latter half of the Clone Wars appearance. So the dark brown robe with a black overlay on top. You can see they haven't changed his hair mold since the Clone Wars, but it does it really well. There's no need to. Simple back printing there, but with a good neutral expression. You can see his scar. R7A7, I don't actually have his first appearance. He came out way back in like 2009, 2010, don't quite remember. But it is great to get this guy added to the collection, especially as a big fan of the Clone Wars. We need Ahsoka's droid. So he is printed on the dark red cylinder piece here, as well as the legs with the white dome. He's got the light lime green accents there. Flip that around. No back printing, which is pretty uncommon for the astromech droids. It's pretty give or take if we'll see back printing on them, I think. But the print all around the dome there looks good. Sometimes they look a little wonky, but with just printing on the curved surfaces, but mine seems to have come out pretty good. So I'm very excited to have these minifigures. Some long awaited updates for guys. And actually I haven't checked the R7 prices for the old one because he was quite expensive. So I wonder if he has gone down since the release of this new guy. But that does it for the rest of all the guys. So let's go add them to the wall. All right, so we got everyone added to the wall. So let's go see where they landed. Way up there is where the Phase 1 clone trooper ended up. So glad to fill a spot way up at the top. They're getting harder and harder to fill because they are usually quite uncommon to find in Bricklink. And we're getting to like the more expensive ones as well. So glad to have him, because then we go all the way down to the bottom here for the next oldest minifigure. So the guys from the Crimson Firehawk. We continue down the line, we can see the Moff Gideon, Paz Vizsla fight, as well as the Ahsoka Interceptor crew. Going to the left over here, we see the Rebuild the Galaxy crew, so Lego and the Rebel Pilot sitting there. And then we have the Ambush on Mandalore minifigures. So, filled in a lot of good gaps, but as you can see, we have a lot more gaps to fill, but that's okay. Stay tuned because I've actually accumulated quite a few guys in the hiatus since I have started, since my hiatus, so you won't have to wait very long for me to fill in quite a few of these gaps. And also just one quick correction, the head print on this pilot here, we have seen that before. It is relatively new, came out in the Yavin 4 battle set with Dutch Vander and Red Leader, I can't remember what his name is. So not exclusive to him, but relatively new. So cool to see that updated. But thank you all for watching. Please stay tuned for later ones, and I will see you all later.